the feeling within the Cruz campaign right now is growing concern, nervousness over Rubio's challenge here. Wolf?
Apparently they're concerned about Rubio moving up, and he is apparently moving up, at least according to the polls. Sunlen, thanks very much. Let's get some more on all of this. The communications director for the Marco Rubio campaign, Alex Conant, is joining us. Alex, thanks very much for joining us. You noticed that Ted Cruz, they're devoting more energy to going after Senator Rubio now than going after Donald Trump. Listen to this latest ad they're putting out.
I am not, and I will never support, never have and never will support any effort to grant blanket legalization amnesty.
Marco Rubio was part of a gang of 8 trying to secure amnesty. One of the architects of the plan, Senator Marco Rubio, you are giving legal status to people who have broken the law. It was Marco Rubio that was a member of the gang of 8 and Ted Cruz that wasn't.
I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message.
All right, Alex, you want to respond to that ad? It's a pretty tough one on Marco Rubio.
Yeah, let me just make 2 observations. One, I think that ad, well, first of all, it's just false. That when Marco Rubio is president, he's going to oppose amnesty. He opposes amnesty now. As president, there will be no amnesty. He will secure the border with 700 miles of new fencing. He will have 20,000 new border security agents. We're going to deport criminal aliens, and we're not going to have sanctuary cities. And voters understand that. Voters here in Iowa, where Marco spent the last week campaigning town to town, meeting thousands of Iowans, he's talked to them about immigration. They understand his position, and we're moving up in the polls. And we saw that again last night. One of the best moments in the debate was when Marco talked about immigration, talked about how he opposes amnesty, and then contrasted that to Ted Cruz, who used to support legalization, has changed his position during this campaign in a very cynical and calculating way.
18% right now. Likely Iowa caucus goers say they'd vote for Rubio in this new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. He's up 5 points over the last month. He's just 7 points below Cruz. You think it's possible Rubio could beat Cruz in the Iowa caucuses and come in second, let's say, to Donald Trump?
In a word, no. We don't expect that to happen. We're running against the greatest show on earth in Mr. Trump, and then the greatest ground game that we've ever seen here in Iowa with Ted Cruz. I mean, this is Ted Cruz a couple weeks ago was over 40% in the polls and was telling people he hadn't peaked yet. He has 12,000. His campaign claims to have 12,000 volunteers on the ground here in Iowa. He's gone all in Iowa. We expect Ted Cruz will win Iowa. What we're hoping for is a very strong third place. Traditionally, there's 3 tickets out of Iowa. We'd love Marco to have one of those, but either way, we're expecting a long campaign ahead of us.
Is Marco Rubio now directing most of his firepower against Ted Cruz?
We're directing most of our firepower against Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton cannot be president of the United States. As I know you're going to have someone from her campaign on later on, you should really challenge him on the report today that the State Department says that there were top secret emails on her server. She is disqualified from being president of the United States. That's what Marco Rubio is focused about talking about, because we need to unite the Republican Party, defeat Hillary Clinton, and elect Marco president of the United States. Because when Marco's president of the United States, we're going to get to the bottom of this email scandal with Hillary Clinton.
I'm going to definitely talk to him about that, the Hillary Clinton press secretary, when he comes on. That's coming up a little bit later. Do you think Donald Trump helped or hurt his campaign last night by skipping the Fox News presidential debate?
Oh, I don't know. I can tell you it helped Marco's campaign. We had more time on the debate stage last night than we have in any of the previous debates. And whenever Marco has extra time on the debate stage talking to millions of people, I think 12 million people tuned in last night and saw Marco speaking about his vision for the country, why he's running for president, his agenda for a new American century. Whenever he has that much time, that's a really good night for our campaign.
All right, Alex, I want you to stand by there. Finish your thought. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so if Mr. Trump wants to skip the next couple of debates and keep letting Marco have extra time, that's fine with us.
All right, we're stand by. There's more to discuss. Alex Conant from the Marco Rubio campaign, he's with us. A lot more coming up. We're getting more information. Stay with us. The Iowa caucus is only 3 days away. Donald Trump still leading by double digits in most of the polls, but now we're seeing the battle for second place heating up. We're back with the communications director for the Marco Rubio campaign, Alex Conant. Alex, Marco Rubio's numbers are heating up, but you yourself say don't expect him to come into second place. How do you think he's going to do in New Hampshire?
Well, we have to get through Iowa first. We feel very good about New Hampshire, and as soon as the caucuses close here Monday night, and we visit with our supporters here, we're going to get on an airplane, fly to New Hampshire, and then I expect he'll be campaigning every day in New Hampshire until the primary there. Traditionally, the Iowa caucuses, whoever wins here is going to get a little bit of a bump. Whoever's in the top 3 here is going to get a little bit of a bump. So we feel very good about New Hampshire. We feel good about South Carolina. Feel good about Nevada. It's going to be a long campaign. We're ready for the long haul. And the fact that we're gaining momentum at the right time shows that we're doing something right, that people are connecting with Marco's message for a new American century.
How bitter is the relationship now between Marco Rubio and his one-time mentor, the former Florida governor, Jeb Bush? It got a little testy last night.
Marco has a lot of respect for Jeb Bush. They're friends before this campaign started. They're going to be friends after the campaign started. I think it's sad what's happened to Jeb during this campaign. I think it's sad what kind of campaign he's running. He said it was going to be a joyful campaign when he entered, but now he's running almost $1 million or over $1 million of negative ads every day against Marco Rubio. And that's not joyful. That's sad. But he's going to do what he's going to do, and obviously it hasn't had much of an impact on Marco as we continue to rise in the polls, see our crowds grow, raising a lot of money at MarcoRubio.com. And continuing to go into the caucuses with increased momentum.
Is it true what Jeb Bush said in that debate last night, that Marco Rubio, as a senator, as a member of that so-called Gang of 8 working for comprehensive immigration reform, actually called up the Florida governor and asked him for his support for a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants in the United States?
Well, it's true that Jeb did support the Gang of 8 bill. As that Marco worked on. What happened after that bill passed the Senate is that it went on, died in this House, and Marco said that bill is dead. That bill is never going to become law. And what we need to do is approach immigration reform from a sequential perspective. First, we need to secure the border, and once we've secured the border and put into place E-Verify and an entry-exit system, then we need to modernize our legal immigration system. And only after you've done those 2 steps can you deal with the issue of the 12 million illegal immigrants currently in the United States. And we think that people will be very reasonable about what to do with those. But first, you have to secure the border. Apparently, Jeb Bush still doesn't understand that, at least at the debate last night. He seemed very confused over what his current position is, since Jeb has switched on it so much.
Well, he's at one point supported a pathway to citizenship. Now it's a pathway to legalization. But I just want to be precise.
Right.
Did Senator Rubio make a call and ask Jeb Bush to support that Gang of 8 legislation? Because you heard Jeb Bush last night say he wound up supporting it because he was influenced by Marco Rubio.
Well, obviously, when we were working on that legislation, we reached out to a lot of people in the Republican Party. We wanted as much support as we could. It passed the Senate and then died in the House, and we recognized that bill is dead. It's not coming back. When Marco Rubio is president, we're not going to pursue a Gang of 8 style legislation. Instead, we're going to secure the borders first. We're going to, as I said in the previous segment, we're going to secure the border, 700 miles of new fence, 20,000 new border agents, an entry-exit system, E-Verify. We're going to make sure that we have illegal immigration under control when Marco Rubio is president.
All right, Alex Conant from the Rubio campaign, thanks very much for joining us.